Hello. Hello, everyone's. It's Dr. J, and I'm back for day 29 of the 30-day productivity challenge. You get it? Day 29, which means we only have today and tomorrow remaining for the challenge. So, as you know, I love to share this out. So, while you all join, I'll be sharing this out. Make sure you hop on and say hello. Let me know that you're on. Let me know that you can see me, hear me, all that good stuff, so that I can make sure I'm not talking to myself, right? So if you are joining, say hello while I share, and we'll get started here briefly. And this will give you time to share as well while I do that and wait on everyone to join. And I'm sure you're probably, leaving work. You may be in your commute. And you may not be able to catch me live. And I understand that. As I always say, you can catch the replay. That rhymed. As I always say, you can catch the replay. So hopefully you are getting your notifications so that you'll know when I do go live. Although we are only, as I just mentioned, one day away from this challenge expiring. So we are almost done sharing this out here. So again, if you're tuning in, say hello, give me heart, love, thumbs up. Let me know you're out there. Share this out with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your enemy, your church members, everybody, so that we can make sure that we are sharing, because sharing is caring and caring is sharing, right? So if you haven't been tuning in, I just want to give you an update. This is the 30-day productivity challenge that I have committed to for the last now 29 days. Today makes 29, day 29. So if you're just tuning in and this is your first time catching me, make sure you go back and catch all the replays. And as you watch, make sure you comment in the comments and state that you are watching the replay. But I want to encourage you to go on and go onto my page, my Facebook page at DRJATUN, so that you can catch all the replays and catch up. Because what I typically say is that I want you to catch up so that you'll be able to follow along with the future posts or the future lives. However, we only have one more after today. Hey, Latia, thank you for joining. Good evening to you as well. And thank you all for the heart love. As I mentioned, make sure you say hello when you join. Share this out. Give me heart love, thumbs up, just so I'll know that you're out there, and make sure that I greet you, because you have come into my virtual home. And it's only kind of me to be a good host and acknowledge your arrival, right? So also for those of you who are new, and this is your first time, again, I am Dr. Jatun Dorsey. I am an Amazon bestselling author, a speaker, life and business coach, professor, and corporate chick. Yes, my Aunt Dorothy is on. She says, good evening on this cold evening. Yes, it is. At least it is in Dallas, right? But I'm sure it's colder somewhere else, but we're so accustomed to that warm weather. You just never know what Texas will bring. It could be freezing right now and warm and hot the next hour. You just never know. But yes, I had to introduce myself for those of you who are joining for the first time. So I am welcoming you to the 30-day challenge. And again, we are on day 29. So we only have one more day after today before this challenge is over. And as I always say, when this challenge is over, it doesn't mean that you should stop working, right? That means that's when the work begins, because all of this time, hopefully you have been taking notes. You've been sharing with your friends and family. You've been doing some brainstorming, reassessment, all that good stuff, right? So that you can now implement. So if you have been focused in on gathering the data, right? Your research. This is the research stages where you're gathering the data, you're listening to all the topics and the principles, and you're holding off until that last day so you can now go and implement. I understand that. But then we have some folks that learn differently, right? You want to implement as soon as you learn. And that sounds more like me. So I know exactly how you feel and how you approach your learning strategy, right? So whichever way you choose, just know that at the end of this 30-day challenge, it's not the end. That's just the beginning, right? So today's topic, of course, before I get to today's topic, you got to know what we've been talking about. Although we are talking productivity, right? That could mean anything. It could apply to many different aspects of life, which is what makes this topic so interesting to me, because these principles can be utilized in any aspect, love, life, business, and beyond, right? So I've been leveraging my book, Intentional Living, that was released earlier this year. So we've been talking about principles, right? Principles to increase your productivity while maintaining your peace of mind. So we want to focus on, for one, getting things done and not just being busy, but we also want to focus on making sure we remain sane as we continue to juggle the many responsibilities that we have in life. And the principles were similar to the title, intentionally planned out, laid out in the way that they were in the book. So that's why I encourage you to go back and take a listen to the previous lives so that you can see what we've been talking about, so that you can get all the juicy, good tools and tricks and treats and strategies that we've been talking about, so that you can be on track and ready to go on day 30. So you can just drop off and start tackling these things on your own. But what we started out with was talking about shifting your mindset. So we wanted to get your mind right. We had to reframe some negative thinking. We had to reassess some thoughts that we have and the way that we look at things so that we can receive better, right? Because sometimes what we receive is what we think we see, and not necessarily, it is not necessarily always in a positive light. So we started there. Then we went into documenting, and that means planning, right? Getting your blueprint ready, getting outlined, having something documented so you can always go back and know what your overall plan and goal is, what your end state is for your future, right? For these goals that you have these tasks. So it could be small as tasks that you go and you're responsible for from day to day, or it could be that overarching goal that you have in 5 years, right? So whatever it is, you need some type of documentation or a blueprint so that you can continuously refer back to that, and it keeps you on track. So even though life happens, things happen, things will distract you, deter you, you always have that blueprint to go right back to and say, yes, this is what I need to be doing right now. This is what I missed last month. This is what I need to catch up on, right? So we talked about that. And then we went into making every minute count. So we talked about time management in essence there. So it's important to understand that we have 24 hours in a day, right? Although we live it every day, we tend to forget, right? And we wish for more time, but if you don't utilize the time that you currently have effectively, then what will adding another hour or two do differently, right? So we have to learn how to effectively and efficiently use the time that we currently have. And we have that many hours and opportunities to make an impact in other people's lives, in our own lives, and to just be better in general, right? So from there, we went into making it happen. So we talked about action, taking the action, aligning your tongues, making sure that what we're speaking is actually what we're doing, right? So we talked about many principles in that section. So I hope that you have been following along so that you'll know exactly what we've been talking about. Thank you for the heart love and the thumbs up. If you guys are just joining, say hello, hello, hello. Give me thumbs up. Give me heart love, whatever you desire. Just let me know you're out there so I can welcome you and acknowledge that you're there, right? So after we went into Make It Happen, that was section 4. Remember, there are 5 sections total in the book. So we are currently in the last section, obviously, right? If we only have one more day remaining for this 30-day challenge. So I hope you continue to stick with me as we press through today and tomorrow with the closeout, right? So today's topic is in the 5th section, which is refill your tank. So we talked about the many ways that it is important for us to care for ourselves, right? As we continue to, I see something on our teeth. As we continue to progress through all the many different things that we have in store. Hey, Axis, thanks for joining. all the things that we have in store, all the things that we've planned for achievement in 2018, we have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, right? We have to realize that the temple that we currently have is the only temple we get, right? It's the only heart, it's the only nose, it's the only set of eyes. This is what we have for now. So we want to take best care of it as we can. And that way we give from, as I said yesterday, the best of us and not the stress of us, right? So we always want to give and serve, but you also have to serve yourself so that you're in the best place, in the best position possible to give and to help others. So we talked about when you grow tired, rest, but don't quit in this section. We also discussed family first, no exceptions. We went into dedication to meditation. We talked about meditation, right? And then yesterday we talked about knowing your limits, right? And we talked about Master P always saying no limit soldiers, right? You can have no limits, but you got to know your limits as well. So be careful about all of the many things that you commit to. Avoid overcommitment. That's one thing we want to leave in 2017, overcommitment, because that is one thing that is sure to create stress, anxiety, depression, all those many things. And you don't tend to realize that that is the root of the issue, right? Those health issues that come about. So just be careful about that, mindful of it as we progress into 2018. Now today we are talking about be open to change. Now, y'all know the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You really can't, right? If that old dog just has no desire to change, right? To do anything different, they're comfortable in content and comfortable in what they're doing and living, then it's very hard to convince that dog or that person or whomever to change. So it's important for us to have the desire of our own to change first, right? And you know, I love Dr. Wayne Dyer. I've quoted him several times throughout this 30-day challenge, and today won't be any different. And he said, Dr. Dyer mentioned at one point in one of his many speaking engagements, which I'm sure he stated it many times before, but you have to have a mind that's open to anything and closed to nothing. A mind that's open to anything and closed to nothing, right? So often we close our minds to different things, right? Just because we have a feeling that it may be bad, you know, we have a feeling that it may be painful. So we create all of these many different thoughts about that thing before we even explore it, research it, find out more about it, right? So we shut ourselves off from the opportunity to learn, to grow, to be exposed, right? So it's important that we create this open sense of self so that we can receive new things, because as they say, you can't continue to do the same thing expecting new things, right? That's insanity. That's insanity. You keep doing the same stuff that's been producing the same results, but you want something different. I mean, come on now. You got to make some changes. And it may not mean that you have to change your overall approach. Sometimes it just takes a little bit, a little tweak, a little twitch, a little twerk, or whatever you want to call it, right? A little slight turn in the left direction rather than going right. So whatever that thing is, you have to identify exactly what it is so that you can start chipping away at it. Again, it doesn't have to be a complete overhaul. It could be a small thing that you realize that you need to focus on for now, and then progressively, you know, you'll be able to change greater and bigger things in your life and in your perspective of thinking and doing. So that's what we're talking about today, knowing your limits. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you for the heart love, the thumbs up. Thanks for joining. For those of you who are hanging on, make sure you share this out, because sharing is caring, as I always say. So make sure that you are doing that. Make sure that your folks know that we are on talking a hot topic today. Not know your limits. Be open to change. See, I was rewinding my tape to yesterday. It is indeed a new day and a new topic. So as I continue to talk about being open to change, oftentimes we say being in a comfort zone is what we call it. However, I don't like to refer to it as a comfort zone simply because we're typically not comfortable, right? It's a content zone, not a comfort zone, simply because we're in a space of which we are running in circles, feeling unhappy, feeling depressed, right? And we're so fearful of trying something new that we'd rather stay with the familiar than to extend our arms and stretch our legs and try something else. So I'm not really sure why or how the phrase comfort zone even came about, right? Because you're not comfortable. If you are desiring change, if you are feeling like you are overstretching or expanding beyond the space that you've been in, the space that you currently occupy, then it's time for you to really reassess and evaluate exactly what it is that you need to do differently, because that's really not your comfort zone. It's your content zone. And it's time for you to move past stagnation and into consistent action towards being better, being bigger, right? Because you have it in you. It just takes you to commit to you, right? To invest in you. And whether that investment means money, time, or whatever, it's time for us to do something for ourselves so that we can move past stagnation and be open, as the topic goes today, be open to that change. Be open to realizing that the fact is we have to explore. We have to reach out and learn new things, discover new things. And that doesn't mean that you have to immediately apply them in your life, right? Or immediately incorporate it into your day-to-day living. However, it does mean that you should at least explore it, right? Research it, learn about it so that you can determine whether or not it's something good for you, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that's not necessarily good for you right now, but it will be in 2 years, right? But you won't know that unless you research. So all too often we get so excited about these many different ideas. You see someone else doing something and you're like, oh, that looks fabulous. They look like they are doing well, and I want to feel like they look like they're feeling, right? Especially with social media now. It's a lot of distractions and a lot of, misleading posts that you can see where you can only in your mind imagine how these folks are really truly living, right? So it's important for you to have your own dreams, your own goals, your own aspirations, and do your own research so that you know exactly what fits for you, right? You don't want that cookie cutter type of business, cookie cutter type of career, but you want something that's going to be truly fulfilling for you. And in order for you to do that, you have to have that open mind to explore and to receive new things that you haven't seen before, right? Things that you may not have ever been exposed to as a child or even into your adulthood now, right? But we have to be open. Open. That reminds me of that commercial when the lady was at the store and she wanted it open. I don't know if that was like a Black Friday commercial or something, but she's on the window, open. That's what I want you to do to your mind. Lean up against that mind and say, look, open. I am ready for you to expand so that I can in turn increase my territory. That's the only way that we can increase our territory, is to open our minds to what could be, right? Not just what we see. So that's when I talk about a few episodes ago, we talked about vision versus sight, right? Vision is having the foresight of things that you may not even can see right now, physically see or physically touch. But mentally, you have this vision, you have this idea that you want to achieve and reach, right? So you can lay out your plan and identify your milestones and your time limits and your deadlines and all that leading up to that vision. Right now, what you have is your sight. Right? You have sight and you can see those things. And some of us get caught up in sight because if we can't see it, we don't believe it. If we can't see it, we don't think it can happen. If we can't see it, we just don't want to see it. Right? So we want to make sure that we are open to that change. We are open to hearing new things, seeing new things, reading new things, being new things, right? Being new places. So let's explore and let's expand our minds, because there is no limit to what you can do, right? So with that, I am going to close it out for today. And I'm so excited. I am overly excited because we are near the end. Not that I'm ready to end it, but I'm just saying we stuck this thing out right together. It wasn't just me. It was not just me, because as I always say, this challenge was something that I committed to, but not just for me, but for us, because it serves as a reminder to me while I am helping you as well. So if there were any topics or any principles that we talked about that helped you, I hope that you are quickly implementing those, or at least have your journal and your little tablet together where you have all your notes accumulated over the 29 days, tomorrow 30 days, so that you can quickly implement and apply this in your life, right? Because that's the important piece. We can take in as much information as we want all day, every day, but if we're not applying, then that is where the problem comes in. You must apply in order to see that transition, in order to see that change. So with that, guys, I am going to go ahead and close out today. I'm going to actually hold off on all of the announcements that I typically do, simply because if you've been following me for 29 days, you already know what's going down, right? So make sure that you go back and catch all the replays, and you'll hear the announcements there if you are looking to get in the loop on that. You also have that opportunity, right? One thing I didn't mention is that I've been uploading some of the videos to YouTube as well. So if it's easier for you to go to YouTube, look for me on YouTube at DRJTUN. Same handle as I have on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at DRJTUN. So please, please, please make sure you connect with me either on any of those social media platforms or on my website, drjatun.com. I would love, love, love to connect with you. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it a night. It is Friday night, and we are, getting prepared for the new year and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys have some awesome things going on this evening, tomorrow, and every day leading up to 2018. And that was the purpose of this 30-day challenge. That was the purpose of me doing it for this month, because I wanted to be that person, if no one else would, that person to ignite you to get into action today, and not wait until January 1st to start setting resolutions and goals and all that those things that we tend to do for the new year, right? No better time than now. So as I always close out, there is no perfect time. What's important is that we make the current moment that we have perfect. And with that, I'm going to say bye for now. I hope to see you tomorrow for the celebration, the last day of the 30-day productivity challenge. So until then, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Peace for now.